Have sort of been on a bit of a roll here, gaining some momentum. It's something, coming into this part of the season, you really talked about finding your game as a team in a stride. What have you liked most about maybe the way you guys have embraced so far this part of the season?
Obviously it feels good to get some of those wins and finally get rewarded for the way we've been playing. I think that it's been so many games that it's been, one goal losses and bounces that has come through the games. We haven't really got the result that we wanted. Now it feels like these last 2 games and 3 games actually just really get rewarded for the good work that we've been doing. And I think that overall it's just been the full team efforts. It's been every line contributing. Goaltending has been amazing. So that's just kind of where we are, and we have a good home stretch ahead, and we just want to continue that.
How much of that is like that fine line between luck, right, when like pucks bounce your way, but also creating that luck for yourself?
Yeah, being in the right spots. I'm taking those chances that will be such a high risk plays, and just stack up those small details over the course of the game that. After been doing so many right things, the puck is somehow going to bounce to you, and just take advantage of those looks too. That's something we've been working on.
For you, obviously, I know offensively this season hasn't gone the way you would have wanted to. You'd be the first one to say that, but it looks like you're finding a little bit more of your stride. You have that shootout goal. You had a great game last. What are you maybe sort of working towards and feeling right now?
Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of games this year when I feel like my overall game has been really good. It's just been those last little percentage to put the puck in the net, and it's kind of been mirroring the whole team's ability to put the puck in the net. And if all of our top guys are struggling scoring, it's gonna obviously affect the team, and it's gonna affect us as individuals. So for me, it's just continuing trying to get better every day. There's nothing else to do, and learning from different type of scenarios during the games what has happened. But for me, it's just that pure attack instinct, just wanting to be the guy that attacks every shift, uses my skating, and just trying to be a threat every time I'm on the ice. And that's just something I try to stack up to create energy for the team.
So it's interesting that you say that, because one of the things Sheldon said about when he split you and Jack up, he likes when you guys are playing together, but he wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of be the driving force on a line. And we obviously know what Jack can do when you guys are paired together, but do you like that opportunity there, right?
Yeah, I think it gave me an opportunity to have the puck a lot, obviously, and I think that Lenny and Glasser has been playing really, really well. They've been setting me up to some great chances. I feel like I've been a part of driving the line together with them, and I feel like that gives me kind of some momentum during the games. That I feel like when I get back out on the power play with Jack and these guys, I feel like I have such a boost and stuff to be with those guys. So a lot of credit to both the coaches to split guys up sometimes, but also to Glasser and Lenny, who has helped my game to evolve.
Sheldon, what kind of a day is it like for you today? Just sort of, or is it just business as usual? Just, especially as you're preparing for another game here.
Yeah, in lots of ways it's business as usual, but the obvious is we've got 3 players on waivers today that we held out of practice for that reason, and it's a distracting day, whether you feel like you're involved in it or not. There's just a lot going on, so you just be mindful of that. We went out and got a good workout in, got a good skate, and we're also preparing for another back-to-back, so we weren't going to be out there long regardless. And we just move along, and 3 o'clock will come and go, and we'll be ready for the Rangers tomorrow.
How's Bratt doing? I know you didn't quite have an understanding of where he was at. But
yeah, obviously didn't skate today, and it's not going to be available this weekend. Fitz might have a further clear update for you. I think he's going to talk to you guys later, but not going to be available this weekend.
What do you see? Sorry, what are you seeing from Johnny, or just like going back in the lineup in that one game? I know you weren't necessarily happy with how things were going. That's not the right word.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job the other day. It's been kind of more so a numbers thing, and we've talked a lot, and it's been a big focus on our offensive game and our transition game and all these kind of things. So. Obviously we want to have our guys who that's a strength of their game, and Luke coming in and all of that. So that just we felt Keefe was going to be the guy out, but it just shows how he can come back in and do a good job for us. So he's a good player, and it's good to have him back in the mix. Sometimes, unless you got as a coach, I mean, you want to keep your group going, but also when you have a guy like him, especially with his character and what he means to the team, it's good to keep him involved when opportunities like that arise.
Sheldon, I don't know what the exact word is, if it's frustration or anything, but the last 3 games, when you see how this team is able to play, the style, the system that you guys go about, and just not being able to play that consistently all season as you did these last 3 games, is it, as a coach, is it frustrating at all, or how do you view that?
Well, I mean, I don't look at it as frustrating. I mean, as the coach, you're responsible for it. So, you're seeking answers and looking for solutions consistently. So I don't waste my time getting frustrated. With that said, I as I was talking about the other night, and I have spoken about, I spent a lot of time over the Olympic break and really looking at our game closely and where we can get better. And never at any time am I concerned about our system or how we play or my philosophy. I think I've shown over my time in the league, and that's part of what I spent my time on, is also just looking back. Where have I been? What have I done? And, how are things different? I looked at my 4 full seasons in Toronto. I think offensively we finished, in terms of expected goals and scoring chances, we were 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd in my time there. So I know that the structure and how we want to play is that, it's there, but it wasn't happening with greater enough frequency. So that's on me to put our guys in better situations and cue them to up the frequency of those opportunities where we have more speed on the rush, more numbers in the rush. So that's been a big focus of ours. As I said, I went through a ton of film on other teams in the league that are really excelling in this area, and then I look at a lot of our clips of the scoring chances that we've generated, and the clips look the same, and they look the way we want it to look, but the frequency hasn't been there nearly enough. So that's what we've been pushing for. I think that's the greatest difference. And then if you look at it even deeper, you look at the 17 games that Jack was part of our group, before cutting his hand, and we were near the top of the league in a lot of these categories. Jack drives a lot of it, not just because of his individual ability to carry the puck to the neutral zone, but how he facilitates for others and how that even impacts the game when he goes to the bench, because we're kind of the ice is tilted slightly. So it makes a significant difference, and it's no coincidence to me that, these last, what has it been, 5 games now since the break? These 5 games, it's the healthiest Jack has been since cutting his hand, and that coincides with Luke coming in as well, and us making it something that we're really talking about a lot. So all these things come together, and you're going to have, you're going to have more of those situations I'm looking for more frequently.
Just kind of piggybacking off that, does it make it difficult to assess which team you are moving forward, so that you know how close you are to either being the team that you've been the past few days or the team that you were for several weeks?
It is a challenge because because of the way the season has gone, because of the injuries, and obviously Jack makes a significant difference. Pesci was out right around that time as well. It makes a difference, and moving different things around. We've had some other adversities that have come our way. What version of our team is our team? I believe what you're seeing right now is what we're capable of. I believe the 8-game winning streak we put together at the beginning of the year. The 17 games before Jack came out of our lineup. I think at that time we'd won 12 of those games. We're sitting 2nd overall in the league. I think we're capable of that. Christmas last season, we're right at the top of the league, 2nd overall. I believe we were at that time too. So we're capable of really good things. Yet, because we talk about the fact that we're maybe unsure, or we're debating it or discussing it, and we're in the situation that we are, that also just shows that we have to get better. We've got to be in a situation where our game can sustain itself no matter who's in or out, and that's on me to do a better job of building our team that way, and that's what we talk about a lot. I think we haven't talked about it as much this season, but last season I used the term a lot about sustaining our game no matter the circumstance, and that we've fallen short in that area. So that's something that that we've got to do a better job of. But I've liked our game, and it's not just the results in the last 3, but all 5 games. If you go back and look at the Buffalo game, the Pittsburgh game, those third periods, make you leave the game with a sour taste, and we don't get the result. But there was lots to like in the first 2 periods of those games too. So we just keep building it and control what we can, and that was today's practice. And then tomorrow's game, we want to keep getting better as we go through this.
Your track record with young players dating back to Toronto, we all know it's been great. What have you seen out of Shimon Nemitz? I mean, at the end of last year, coming into this season, the training camp, you had mentioned, hopefully he can build upon what he did last season. What have you seen, particularly this last month, in his game, and how he's progressed and developed?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say the last month. Most of that month we haven't even been here, but I think
game months.
I guess if I just look at this whole season, it just, to me, he's taking a step. And that's what you want in your young players. I put Luke in the same category, right? This is the reality is we're a team that has high expectations as a group, but we've got 2 very important young defensemen that you're trying to develop along at the same time. These are not finished products. So you want them to be progressing their game. And to me, Nemo has done that. He's obviously, to me, shown that he can make plays. He can shoot the puck in the net. Very important quality to have in any player, but to have it as a defender. And the way that he scored in big goals, that's a personality trait. That's a character trait that you really like to see. He knows he's got to take a step in his defensive game. That's the area that has to continue to progress. But as we've shown this year, the ability to make plays and put the puck in the net is the hardest thing to do in our game, and he has that. And I think his confidence has grown, and his minutes have grown. Obviously, when we're trailing, he's going to play a lot more than when we're in the lead. That's just kind of where he's at, and with the way the group is. With our defense, but as I said, when we look at it from the lens of are you progressing as a player, there's no question that he is.
When you give Nemitz more minutes, do you notice a correlation with his play? Does it make him more confident, or is it maybe just a coincidence for opportunity?
I think it's like any player. The more they play, I think they get in more of a rhythm. They get more touches. You play a little more freedom because you know that. Mistakes or whatever, they're not going to impact your ice time necessarily, so you can go out there and play a little bit more free. With that said, every player wants that, but it is a team sport. You're building a team. You've got to deploy 18 skaters. Different players have strengths and weaknesses, and you're trying to make that work. So I don't think, I've never come across a player that's told me, I'm playing too much, coach. They all want to play a lot, but it's a matter of, making it work and how it all fits. And, what you want to have as a team is as many guys thriving as you can. But you also have to be careful to push too hard one way for somebody to thrive, and then everybody else kind of falls apart or their game slips. So the team game slips. It's the ultimate team sport, hockey, with how we interchange players. That's part of it. But like I said, I think Nemo's minutes have been good this year, especially in the last few months of the season. And last year he was in and out and up and down from the minors, and now he's to me he's arrived in the league without question, and he's like any young player continuing to progress.
I think you had him out there with Luke a couple of times. Is that something, if he is still here, that you want to develop as a pair?
Yeah, especially when trailing. When trailing, when trailing offensive zone face-offs, offensive situations. You try to put your guys in those spots so they can connect with the forwards a little bit better offensively. That's something we're mindful of and talking about. We just have to be aware because both players, need to develop their defensive game. And when you have them paired together, then you're exposed a bit that way. So we don't see it as a full-time thing at this stage, but certainly when we need a goal or we are in a favorable offensive situation, it makes sense.
Thanks, Sheldon.